this official closing ceremony. May we all rise up as we play the national anthem. May we resume our seats. As we proceed, Chairman Kentek, Director AUIBA, Chairman ISCTRC Conference, and dear delegates who are present here, I wish to request that I invite Professor Enoch Matovu so that he can read us the recommendations of this 36th ISCTRC conference. Welcome, Professor.
Good afternoon. I've been asked to read recommendations from the ISTRC 36 that has been held in Mombasa. Right now we have recommendations from the first session is up to animal trypanosomiasis. The Secretariat will find ways of updating you with the other recommendations as they come in. So these are recommendations and resolutions of the 36th Conference of the International Scientific Council for Trypanosomiasis Research and Control held in Mombasa, Kenya on from the 18th to the 22nd of September 2023. In the preamble, we are saying that we, the delegates to the ISTRC conference, having met in Mombasa from the 18th to the 22nd September 2023, underscore the importance of trypanosomiasis and its impact on human health and animal productivity, particularly across sub-Saharan Africa. We recognize the many actors and initiatives towards improving Africa's development by getting rid of the major obstacle posed by SESE and trypanosomiasis, which have led to significant gains in that endeavor. Major strides have been made, particularly in human African trypanosomiasis. which has been eliminated as a public health problem in several countries, while many others on the path to the same. Similarly, there are many players in the battle against the animal disease, as well as the tsetse fly and mechanical vectors. We express our gratitude to the African Union Inter-African Bureau for Animal Resources, AU-IBA, for mobilizing resources for coordinated action through the ISTRC, which facilitates coordinated efforts against the African trypanosomiasis. Noting the role and significant contribution of the ISTRC to provide a forum on which several players in the battle against tsetse trypanosomiasis converge, underscoring that 7 African Union member states have eliminated HAT as a public health problem, and that several others have embraced a progressive control pathway to similarly address African animal trypanosomiasis, recognizing that the past and current trends portend increasingly severe, recurrent, and often more widespread complex crises compounded by re-emerging threats that can affect Africa's system, and that significant investment, policy, regulatory, and institutional reforms are necessary. The following recommendations were made during the 36th ISTRC conference. 1, that FAO and AU should continue promoting the streamlining of progressive control pathway approach into national and regional policies and strategies against African animal trypanosomiasis. That IAEA and AU should strengthen capacity building in member states for informed decision making regarding the choice of tsetse and trypanosomiasis strategies and the cost-effective integration of the sterile insect technique operations in area-wide integration pest management campaigns with the objective of creating and expanding tsetse-free zones. We call upon all stakeholders to mobilize concerted efforts and action to relaunch PATEC initiative for the effective control and elimination of tsetse and trypanosomiasis in Africa. The AU should renew its efforts to reactivate the PATEC coordinating office and its functions to provide coordination and leadership in the implementation of the PATEC initiative at the continental level. That done, PATEC initiative relaunch should be included in the agenda for the next AU summit. PATEC should be set back on track as one of the institutions to collaborate with the World Organization of Animal Health. So cross-border projects should be developed for research and control of HAT, AAT, and vectors. And financial support for regional ISCTRC established in Burkina Faso and Ethiopia for mass production of sterile insect flies to deploy the SIT should be provided. From following sessions also on HAT, we had with recommendations are that continue the availability of the CAT as the test of choice for active screening should be ensured, that current and upcoming rapid diagnostic tests should be improved in order to comply with the characteristics described in the WHO target product profiles. Next, that research to improve concordance between reference laboratory tests, both molecular and serological, should be undertaken. In view of the lack of correlation between those results of the post-hoc confirmation tests, evaluation of performance and further refinement of these and new tests should be undertaken. And the research and development of serological tests, such as RDTs for Rhodesian heart, should be undertaken in order to improve Rhodesian heart case detection. Next, that simple and cost-effective surveillance methods to drive elimination of HAT in current and serological foci should be adopted. Community participation in HAT screening should be encouraged by adopting innovative approaches that counter social cultural barriers to this endeavor. Modeling studies built around cost-effectiveness should be undertaken to guide interventions towards elimination and sustaining of elimination in endemic countries. That we should develop cross-border programs to combat HAT and the tsetse fly vector. Considering the results of clinical trials of vaccinators on Rhodesian heart, the WHO should support completion of the regulatory framework for registration of this drug for HAT, rhodesian's heart. Further trials to enable use of new drugs like cocizoboro in children, pregnant and breastfeeding women, as well as extension to seropositive individuals should be done. More studies are required to provide concrete evidence for hypothetical role played by animal reservoirs in Gambian's heart transmission. Next, that control of the vector and the animal reservoir where present should be deliberately executed alongside other strategies for human African trypanosoma elimination in a One Health approach. From the AAT session, we have recommendations like animal African trypanosoma research activities should be integrated with control activities in collaboration with veterinary services. And a robust database or information system, such as atlases on SESE and AAT, to guide evidence-based decision-making should be established. There should be research to develop new trypanosides effective against all trypanosomes at the same time. This research should be accelerated. Laboratory capacity and diagnostics for AAT should be strengthened. This should be done with support from the World Organization of Animal Health through their laboratory training programs to train laboratory staff. Finally, that regional reference laboratories for diagnosis of AAT should be set up across the African continent and should be recognized by the WOA as WOA collaborative centers. Thank you very much. This is so far what I have, and as we said, more will be added to this collection when other session repertoire reports are available. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So far, so good. I believe you may have picked an area where you may need to add or modify how the recommendation has been put. Our suggestion is that you forward the comment to the Secretariat at the AU-IBA so that they are able to capture the recommendations in the way you'd wish it be captured. I want now to move to the next level, and I request that the ISCTRC chairman, Professor Joseph Ndungu, to come forward and make his remarks.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, the Chairman, Kentek, the Director, AU-IBA, all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard my voice so much that I need to only say a few words and then I can shut up. It has been a pleasure to participate in this 36 ISCTRC, and more so to share the event. And we have learned a lot, even though we went through COVID and spent a few years before reconvening. I think that the energy that we have come back with should keep us going even more. Having said that, there were some glaring themes that came out that, again, I would like to echo, one of which is the central role of One Health, the fact that looking amongst us, we have a great generation of implementers, scientists, partners who are going to keep this effort going. There is incredible progress that has been made in the human trypanosomiasis sector. It has been much more easily measurable than in the livestock and the vector sector, but listening to all the presentations from the various countries, from the various presenters, it is indeed clear that even in the SESE and animal African trypanosomiasis sector, there is great progress. And this should re-energize us going forward. Now, coming back to the ISCTRC, I take note of the fact that we had the COVID interruption, and maybe there are some things that may have fallen by the wayside. So I urge the ISCTRC, me being one of them, the AU IBAR, that as we go forward, we put more efforts to, again, reinvigorate the ISCTRC. I think there is need to ensure that we have a balance of the presentations, the posters, so that we do not have the kind of pressure of time that we have had this week. Those of you who were in the opening ceremony will remember that the Deputy President encouraged us to leave all the dollars here. We could only leave all the dollars here if we were given time to also go out there and socialize. So making sure that we have some free time for excursions and going out, this is something that will need to be looked at. Ensuring that the scientific committee that does the review of presentations and abstracts starts their work early, which also means identifying the next venue early. I think these are issues that will need to be addressed as we go forward. Of course, and this was brought out from the beginning by the director, AU IBA, the issue of gender. This is something that, again, and here we should not talk about ladies or gentlemen, we just talk about gender, because if the last session is anything to go by, there were less men than women. So it's really the issue of gender balance as we go forward. That is all I have to say. Again, it has been an incredible week. I'm very happy that we are on Friday, and we shall be seeing the end of this. And again, it was my pleasure to be the chair of this wonderful event. Thank you, and God bless you.
Another round of applause to the ICT chairman. Yes, may I now take this opportunity to welcome Madam Dr. Huyam Sali, Director for AU IBA, so that she can make her remarks. Welcome, Madam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jeffrey, Chairman of Kentec, the Chairman of the ISCTRC, Prof. Joseph Ndongo, the Executive Committee members of ISCTRC, all representatives of international organizations and regional and national organizations, the National Organizing Committee members, all the eminent scientists, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Commissioner of Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment, Ambassador Josepha Sako, and on behalf of the AUC, I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank all of you for being here for this conference, and to thank the government and the people of the Republic of Kenya that represented in a very high level to grace this conference, His Excellency, the Deputy President of Kenya, and also the Principal Secretary for the Ministry of Livestock, and all the directors from the Livestock Ministry, besides Kentech and other organizations, have been present here for this conference. I want to thank them for making this conference possible. Indeed, this conference received support from the highest level of the government and also clear indications. We are also grateful for the warm welcome and generous hospitality and commitment towards the successful organization of this conference. And I wish to take this opportunity to sincerely thank the National Organizing Committee and the ISCTRC Executive Committee, the Kentech Board, led by Dr. Jeffrey, and my dedicated colleagues from AU IBAR for their outstanding efforts in ensuring the success of this year's conference. Participants, you will concur with me that this conference enjoyed substantial support from highest level of government, underscoring the significant commitment and endorsement that the government of Kenya places on Tsetse and trypanosomiasis efforts for the socio-economic development of its people. And we are indeed encouraged by this. And on behalf of the Tsetse and trypanosomiasis community, I also thank all of you for the individual and collective efforts towards making this important event a success. I'm very sure we have had 5 days of intensive, fruitful deliberations, abundant exchange of knowledge and shared experiences on TNT control and eradication with inputs coming from everyone. The discussions you have had during this conference are extremely important, given the huge potential of animal resources in general and livestock in particular in the continent and its contribution to poverty reduction, supporting livelihoods, and economic growth as bear the theme, sustainable Tsetse and trypanosomiasis control for socio-economic development. At this juncture, I would like to assure delegates that ISCTRC will continue to play its role in bringing together eminent researchers, control workers, member states, regional economic communities, international, regional, and national organizations, and other stakeholders to share and exchange information on Tsetse, human and animal trypanosomiasis, research and control in order to better approaches and tools for the control and elimination of Tsetse and trypanosomiasis. Distinguished delegates, experts, ladies and gentlemen, over 300 participants attended the meeting physically and virtually and were drawn from 15 member states. The African Union Commission, universities, and research institutions from across the world. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the World Health Organization, the World Organization for Animal Health, the International Atomic Energy Agency, the Program Against African Trypanosomiasis, the International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, the International Center for Research and Development on Livestock Subhumid Zones, the Foundation for Innovative New Diagnostics, and the Drugs for Neglected Diseases, amongst others. A total of 96 papers were orally presented and 25 presented in posters, covering various aspects of TNT research and control. 14 country reports and 8 reports from international organizations were also shared. The presentations focused on 4 broad themes, including human African trypanosomiasis, African animal trypanosomiasis, Glossina biology, control and eradication, and socioeconomics, environment, and land use. From the conference, rich deliberations, key recommendations, and future interventions were generated. And here I want just to remind about the objectives of this meeting and conference, that we need to come up with recommendations informed on what has been achieved and what are the gaps and how to move forward. The presentations delivered during this conference were of exceptional quality. This is a clear indication that scientists in Africa and elsewhere have involved in research actions and remain steadfast in achieving the ultimate goal of elimination of Dead Sea and trypanosomiasis. I sincerely extend my appreciation to all the presenters, the scientific committee, chairman of sessions, and rapporteurs for their outstanding contributions. Thank you for a job well done. I would also like to recognize the valuable interactions and knowledge exchange over the poster sessions. The highly innovative and consumer-friendly approaches adopted by the poster presenters is highly commendable. The presenters devoted significant time and efforts to create informative and visually engaging poster presentations covering various facets of research and control in the field of Dead Sea and trypanosomiasis research and control. I wish to express my gratitude for their hard work and efforts. It was truly gratifying for me to witness young and talented scientists delivering brilliant poster presentations. To the ISCTRC, I encourage you to continue to play your role in bringing together eminent researchers, control workers, member states, RECs, international, regional, and national organizations, and other stakeholders to share and exchange information on Dead Sea, human and animal trypanosomiasis research and control in order to provide better approaches and tools. I note with a lot of pressure the efforts being made towards the elimination of the sleeping sickness as a public health problem by 2030, and the activities being carried out to support the elimination efforts. I also note with appreciation the activities being carried out and tools being developed to address African animal trypanosomiasis, including diagnostics and therapeutics. And I urge that these vital efforts continue in order to safeguard the countless animals coming to Nagana, which not only deprives livestock keepers of their livelihoods, but also impact on the socio-economic development of our member states in Africa. I was equally encouraged by the number of young scientists from both genders who made presentations in this conference. But I must say that we need more hands on the deck. I therefore encourage member states, technical and development partners to put more efforts in capacity building to ensure that the next generation of Dead Sea and trypanosomiasis research and control workers has the needed skills and competencies to address the TNT challenges. Distinguished delegates, experts, ladies and gentlemen, the issue of resuscitating the Pan-African Dead Sea and trypanosomiasis eradication campaign, BETIC, has been well noted, and especially to drive a coordinated action towards HAT, AAT, and Dead Sea control. The critical action will be towards the development of a continental strategy and programs for trypanosomiasis. I reassure you of the commitment of AUI BAR towards the realization of this. I assure you that the recommendations from this conference will be shared with all stakeholders to ensure their implementation. And I commend all of you for your efforts and contributions. Finally, as I conclude, I extend everyone my best wishes for a safe journey back to your respective destinations. And we all pray to God to bless Africa and to bless Kenya and to bless all of you. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. Let's give Madam Director another round of applause. Madam Director, I just have one more thing that I want to retain you here for 1 to 2 minutes to do for us. And it is with this background, we all take note that the representatives that sit in the executive committee of the ISCTRC, there are a number of them who have since retired, or some of them we have lost them, and there was need for replacement. In the Southern Africa, there is a replacement we expect because Dr. William Shereni retired. In the Central African region, there is Ndutomia Anaklet, who passed on. Dr. Lisette Kohagne moved out of government. And then in Eastern Africa, Dr. Pamela Olet retired lastly. In Western Africa, the representative who was Dr. Babasal retired too. So there was need for replacement. I know that the regions have made their recommendations, which Professor Joseph Ndungu will read for us here. After reading, Prof, we request you to go ahead, ask Madam Director to give them their congratulations. You can sit as it is.
So thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Again, I wish to commend the delegates from the various regions because they heeded our appeal, and other than Northern Africa, we have delegates to replace those who have had to, or those to fill the vacant positions. So from Southern Africa, we had one vacancy, and it has been taken by Alban Muhidurwa. Do we have Alban Muhidurwa? So if you can start, please clap for him. From Central Africa, we have Professor.
For the next conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Director. I wish to now take this opportunity to invite, and I believe the Secretariat has arranged, those who presented their posters, and the posters won. You remember the 5 participants. May I request Madam Ashil to bring the certificates so that the chairman, Kentek, can come up front and present to the various winners, awardees. Madhala D. Nkosi. That important moment. I'm not hearing claps. Then we move to number 4, who is Fabrice Gomi. Thank you. The next awardee, number 3, is Isaiah Ndamburu Kiteto. Thank you very much. The second awardee is Lanmo Nyakupinda. And then lastly, the awardee who came first is Julia Muita. Thank you very much. May I ask Chairman to resume your seat. The next step that we are going to is to request that we get a vote of thanks from Professor Mamadi Kamara from Guinea Conakry before we get our official closing remarks from the chairman. Professor Mamadi Kamara, kindly come forward for a vote of thanks.
Please, Madam the Director, the big director, and my dear brother and friend and my Professor Joseph Dungu, the Director of Kentech. It is so difficult to talk when all these eminent people have finished to talk about so many things, especially about science. For 5 days, I observed that there were a lot of things which were said in terms of science for the revolution of the fighting HAT. I observed with a lot of satisfaction the contribution of science so as to improve upon the control. All presentations made were magnificent, and it gave some meaning to the fight against this disease. These people who have worked and who continue working very hard so as to revolutionize science to help the poor people who are going through a lot of suffering. It is true, we noted with a lot of satisfaction this progress which was presented. I thank you all for that. And, you know, there are some people who work, behind. And if we are all here today, it's because of a lot of work which was done behind the scenes. I would like to talk about Beatrice, morning and evening, who send mails, who contacts everyone to invite you so that you are there. Really, we have to thank this big lady who has played a very big role. And from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate your work. At the level of the platform, I also want to thank you very sincerely I'm talking about Sylvie, I'm talking here about Florence, who facilitated all the issues of transport so as to come here and allow us to explain what we are doing in our different capacities. It's difficult for me to visit your country. It is the first time to come to this country. And I came here a people full of dignity in Africa, a people representing the pride of Africa. And I found a very good, warm community in Mombasa. That's why I wasn't surprised to hear that everybody talks about Mombasa. Me, Mamadou, I not yet visited Mombasa. Thank you for making it possible for me to have discovered Mombasa. The vice president told us to spend some money here. I will just tell him simply that it is my heart which talks. If I give the money will get finished. But I have to give my most sincere thanks and saying that it's not money I'm going to spend, but it is the heart which I'm going to put here. Because the money can get finished, but the heart doesn't get finished. We are very happy with the Kenyan people, and we thank them very sincerely from this tribune. I want the people of Africa to receive our thanks. On behalf of all the participants, on behalf of all the teams who were here, I would like you to accept our appreciation, and I would like to say thank you for what you have done. In my place, we to say, Kamamwa, Abaka Baka.
Thank you very much, Kamara. I now wish to welcome the guest of honor, Dr. Geoffrey Mutai, Chairman of Kentech, to come and give his remarks and officially close this conference. Welcome, Chair.
The Director, AU IBA, Dr. Kuyam Sali, Chairman ISCTRC, Dr. Joseph Dungu, representatives of development partners and international and regional organizations, private sector partners, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged and honored to have this opportunity to thank you all for participating in this very special forum, the International Scientific Council for Trypanosomiasis Research and Control. The ISCTRC was established to promote international cooperation in the fight against trypanosomiasis, which is one of Africa's greatest constraints to socio-economic development, severely affecting human and livestock health, limiting land use, causing poverty, affecting tourism, and perpetuating underdevelopment on the continent. One of the key functions of ISCTRC is to facilitate information sharing and exchange on SESE and trypanosomiasis research and control through regular conferences. The 36th General Conference of ISCTRC has been a platform where scientists from all over the world gather to discuss advances made in the field of trypanosomiasis and its vector. It is also my pleasure to point out during my interaction with delegates, I learned that this biennial scientific conference has been going on since the 1949, and 4 of them has taken place here in Kenya, 1966, 1989, 1999, and now this one of 2023 being the 4th one. On behalf of the government of Kenya, this is a privilege for us, and we are thankful that this has happened here. Allow me to salute the AU Commission for Rural Economy, AU-IBA, and the Secretariat of the ISCTRC and AU member states who deemed it fit for all this to happen in Kenya. In this particular meeting, we had over 120 oral and poster presentations made by scientists coming from all over the world. These presentations included PATE county reports, papers on human African trypanosomiasis, animal African trypanosomiasis, Sept biology control and education and land use, environment, and social economics. We got presentations on new discoveries and innovations in all these different fields. More still, we know that this exceptional work in research and innovation requires resources which the development partners have always come in handy to bridge the resource gaps. I want to thank all development partners, both local and international, who have always shown commitment to work with us this journey towards eradication of the fly and the disease it spreads. What outcomes have we realized? We have shared and disseminated Sept and trypanosomiasis information. We have enhanced networking among the Sept and trypanosomiasis research and control, the scientists and the workers. We have enhanced capacity of Sept and trypanosomiasis research and control scientists. We have had recommendations for Sept and trypanosomiasis research and control activities for the next 2 years adapted. The African Union Inter-African Bureau for Animal Resources as a coordinating organization for Africa, visibility was enhanced, and the delegates came out very clearly that the PATE coordinating unit at AU-IBA should be operationalized. And I'm happy the director, AU-IBA, has actually said that in her speech. What is so dear to me is that we have enhanced the visibility and the role of Kentech as the lead agent of the government of Kenya in the fight against Sept and trypanosomiasis control and eradication. That is very critical to me as the chair. I want to thank the attending delegates, namely African Union Commission staff, Kentech Board and Management, ISCTRC Executive Committee members, Food and Agricultural Organization, World Health Organization, International Atomic Energy Agency, Program Against African Trypanosomiasis, World Organization for Animal Health, International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, International Center for Research in Africa, Foundation for Innovative New Diagnostics, the Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative, and all scientists and researchers from universities and research institutions from Africa and other continents. I also wish to recognize the contribution of the following private sector organizations who gave support to the National Organizing Committee while preparing for this particular scientific conference: Find Kenya, BioAngle Limited of Malaysia, and Seva Sante Animal. I want to appreciate the government of Kenya, the AU IBA, who gave us the resources and the facilitation to implement this activity. I want to specially recognize the National Organizing Committee led by my able CEO, Dr. Seth Onyango, as chairman, for a well-organized conference. It is my hope that the recommendations adopted today for this conference will be implemented by the various actors. As we now come to the final end of this scientific conference and disperse to travel to our respective destinations, I take this opportunity to wish all of you a safe journey back home. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my humble pleasure to declare that the 36th General Conference of the International Science Council for Trypanosomiasis Research and Control officially closed. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Chairman. Yes, now we have come to the end. I don't need to talk much after the Chairman has done the official closing. I may request that Professor David Kihorani comes forward here so that he closes with a word of prayer. And as he walks forward, just a small announcement. After lunch, the Executive Committee members, you have been invited to meet right here in this hall after lunch. I'm being reminded that the delegates can leave their bags here as they go for lunch. They are safe inside here so that you can collect them immediately after the lunch. Professor Kirani.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nyango. And may I request that we all stand, please, so we can also stretch. So let's close with a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you and we bless your name this afternoon. We are truly grateful, Lord, for this conference that we have had and the opportunity that we've had to be able to meet. Thank you for all the various partners and attendants and delegates and different organizations that were involved in the organization of this conference. We pray for your blessing upon them. Thank you, Lord, for having kept us in good health and strength throughout this time. We did not have any ill health issues. Thank you for the hotel and for its provision of food, good food. And thank you, Lord, for the organization, for each and every member to make this conference a success. Now, even as we depart, we pray, Father, for your blessing upon each one of us, and that you guide us safely to our various destinations. We pray against any accidents, any harm or danger to any member of this conference, and that, Father, you guide us all back to our various places of work and places where we normally are. We just pray, Father, that even as we plan for the next conference, that you also guide and direct all who will be involved, that it too will work out well. We praise and bless you for your goodness and your faithfulness throughout this time, and we pray, believing and trusting